Call this meeting to order. We ready there? Yeah,
Yep, we're good to go.
okay. We'll have a roll call.
Commissioner Bailey.
Here.
Commissioner Bunting.
Here.
Commissioner Gay.
Here.
Commissioner Owens.
Here.
Commissioner Smith.
George, please.
Most gracious Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the day that you've given to us and the blessings in it. And we just pray for the farmers, Father, that you could deliver us some rain. It's getting a little short on supply and we could sure use some. I ask now that you'd be with us through the rest of this meeting. For it's in Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Yes, we do have a last addition. It's an agreement between Mills Excavating and the courthouse for our mowing. So if we could add that to
For the landfill.
landfill, sorry.
No.
There need to be a correction on the minutes.
Okay,
Apparently wasn't speaking very clear. C.O. Bauer is CEO. Changed a 100-year-old man into a woman.
Oh, that's Cleo.
I'm sorry. I was gonna check on that.
Well, these days.
He's been called worse.
Yes, he has.
I will get that fixed.
Move the agenda. Second.
Moved and supported to approve the agenda. All in favor?
I
Opposed? Carries. Public comment? You anybody out there, Matt?
Nope, nobody's connected in right now.
Ready? In consideration of the consent calendar, anything you want to pull out? Or
Over the calendar. Support.
moved and supported the consent calendar. All in favor?
I
Opposed?
So we are gonna meet Wednesday, July fifth.
Yes.
Sixth, isn't it?
Fifth.
Fifth?
At 3:30.
That's
Right, I'm gonna.
sixth.
I'll be going into that here in just a minute, the admin report.
Why don't I have sixth?
You're a little anxious about your marriage. You're jumping ahead a little bit.
Stays on top.
Jumping ahead a little bit.
Oh. Well, I just saw this.
West. Administrators report.
Okay. This week, our insurance company, MMRMA, is going to be sending an assessor on site. What they're going to do is they are going to go around to the buildings and do appraisals for the buildings. That happens every 5 years, so to make sure that we have the appropriate coverage in our insurance. We've taken down a tree by our back parking lot that has begun rotting out. As previously mentioned, we're going to be looking at approval for investing in some new trees around our campus here at the courthouse in our capital project plan. If you have looked around or walked around, you will see that several of them are diseased and are not in good shape. And that's something that we would like to address here in the upcoming year, possibly taking them down while the ground is hard later in this calendar year, and then in the spring, planting them, hoping to catch as much rainwater as we can. We have finalized the hire of our new central dispatch director. His name is David Rapis. Dave comes to us as a MMR dispatcher. He was highly recommended and he is very excited for the job. I got to meet with him earlier today, and when Sheila brought him through the HR and payroll, get to know you, make sure he signs up for everything, understands what the county can offer him and what we expect from him also.
What was his last name again?
His name is Rapez, RAPECZ.
Okay.
And he will begin next week, Monday. Very much look forward to working with him. The sheriff's golf outing was last Friday. I'll let Commissioner Owens expand on that a little bit, but I do believe that it was a huge success. I always look forward to going out there with you, and I do want to thank you for putting this team together where I got to play with you and members from the city of Elma. You know, nothing brings together people more than swearing at a common cause, trying to put a little ball into what seems like even a smaller hole sometimes. This Saturday is the Ithaca Rock the Block event. It will go from 4 until 9 p.m. The first half of this, Gratiot County Animal Shelter and the Sheriff's Office will be participating here on the courthouse lawn if you would like to stop by. They will be joining forces with Gain and Dallas to the rescue for an adoption clinic and meet and greet. So stop on out if you can. We do have a new display on our first floor common area from the animal shelter. They're introducing a Toys for Tails donation box. So anybody from the public or who works here can swing by and they can donate things such as leashes, collars, animal food, cat litter, blankets, etc. The animal shelter goes through those like you wouldn't believe. In addition, Veterans Affairs will now be live streaming photos in the courthouse of the adoptable pets that are on their current affairs screen that they share down there in the veterans waiting room. The first Commissioner Jail tour took place last week. I'm going to let George expand on that at his appropriate time here. The tours for the rest of you are scheduled on Wednesday, July 5th. July 5th at 3:30 p.m., which is 1 hour before our 4:30 p.m. meeting. You remember Tuesday is the 4th. That would have been our regular schedule. The beginning of the year, we moved the meeting to Wednesday, the 5th. You know, for quite some time now, we have penciled in 2026 or 2027 as a target date for potentially building a new jail. We felt that the commissioners taking a tour of our current jail would be the appropriate first action to allow the sheriff and the jail administrator to show you in person why they would be asking for a new jail. And lastly, Pine River is now the sole member of the airport authority outside of the county that has not yet opted out of the airport authority in one of their meetings, in one of their live meetings. And that is because they are meeting tonight in order to do that. Commissioner Smith will be attending an airport meeting on Thursday where they will accept these resignations from the authority, leaving the county as the last member of this authority. The lawyer for the authority has completed the lease agreement and the intergovernmental agreement between the county and Elma for Elma to continue to help us out with some of the day-to-day activities such as buildings and grounds, maintenance, some of the financial aspects until we have the appropriate people ready and trained to do that. I would like to take a little bit of time to review these documents that the lawyer has drawn up before bringing them public so that Eric and I can make any appropriate adjustments that we feel need to be made. I do expect to bring these to you at the next meeting on July 5th for your review. Get them ahead of you, get them to you well ahead of time so you can look them over and provide any input. That concludes my administrator report.
Thank you. Any questions? Commissioners?
Well, the normal subjects, Hamilton and North Star, and I went to those meetings. Hamilton is gearing up to build a new hall. That's right, going to be right in back of their current hall, which is the old Hamilton Township School. So that's been there a long time and it's outused its usefulness. So, and then North Star, just ongoing normal course of business there. And then Tuesday, I went to Lafayette Township meeting, normal course of business there. I try to fill them in on what the board is doing on to each township so that they understand what we're doing. And then I went to Wheeler Township and we had some blight issues there. Our permits department's working with them on that and it's coming. I went, let's see, and then I also went to mental health board meeting again. And staff was getting ready to go this week. They were going out to Las Vegas to a national meeting out there. I did, as Chris said, I did have a chance to go over to the jail. Lieutenant Bozar and Sergeant Andrews guided me through there. That's the first time I've been in that jail in 50 years. I was in there just after they built it and I haven't been in there since. And I don't remember it like I used to. If you recall, 911, the dispatch center was in that building also. And it was like being in a closet. Well, they opened that up a little bit as they overlook the cell blocks from that room. They do have some technology as far as looking at and observing prisoners. But it's very antiquated. It's very antiquated. I will speak from the point of view of staff. Staffing, it's a very difficult place to work. The place is cut up. In some areas, I don't think it's very safe. They've got some issues as far as moving prisoners around. It's old. It smells. I walked into the cafeteria, or a kitchen, not cafeteria, the kitchen, and it was so warm in there you could hardly breathe. They really don't have a lot of good ventilation systems in that building. We did put new air conditioning in there, but it seems to help the prisoners more than anyone else. The staff's doing a great job for what they have to work with. And hopefully you will all make it through there and you'll understand what I'm talking about. We do have some issues as far as the servers go. We just put new servers in there, but in my opinion, they're in a room that is not adequately ventilated. So, but the sheriff was happy I came over. Lieutenant Bozar, Andrews were very happy that I went through and we had good conversations. So going from there. Done.
Oh, well, I went on my honeymoon. So,
You spare us the details, please.
now the second week of the month, all three of my townships meet that week. Emerson Monday, Arcata Wednesday, and Sumner I tried to go on Thursday. And my new bride and me got over there and no one was there. And then I thought Thursday is the third Thursday of the month because
We had
Thursday was the first.
Right. Yeah, that screws you up sometimes. I've been that way too, Tim. So
I missed out on
yeah.
that. Since I last talked to you, I did attend the health board meeting in St. John's. They discussed a lot of health issues, I guess, concerning the three counties. So I attended that. Looking forward to being our jail. Fortunately, I've never been there.
At least let you remember, right?
Yeah.
I went to Seville. They're still working on blight. That's a forever problem in Seville. They got people on the west side there. You got people with 3 generations having the same engine hanging from the tree. And half the people don't get rid of the old car when they buy a new old car. So, but one day maybe they'll get it done. I went to Pine River, everything going good there. Went to Alma. They didn't, I got there too late. They weren't talking about the airport then. And then all else, the golf outing on Friday was great time had by all. No birdies on our team. And no others either.
There was one birdie.
Oh, the one I hit.
The poor bird came across the fairway and Dave gave her a little tap in the butt.
Oh, did you kill it?
No,
Oh.
he flew off.
Oh,
That our laughing scared him, I think. But was a great outing, well attended. Everybody had fun. Golf was ugly, but beer was cold. That was the important thing. That's it.
All right, Jan?
I went to Bethany Township. It was a long meeting. They talked about the solar panels. And Bill Tipke, I hadn't seen him in years. Dr. Tipke, that used to be from St. Louis and moved to North Carolina, was there. So that was kind of really nice to see him. And but basically the conversation was about solar panels. And they're going to be getting them in Bethany Township. And that's pretty much,
That's very significant for us because our landfill is in Bethany Township.
yeah.
I was out to New Haven and Newark and basically, and maybe I mentioned this before, it's interesting, these little townships have $20,000-$30,000 in them, and now they got $700,000-$800,000. I'm driving down the road thinking things have gotten well in the last 18 months. A park meeting tomorrow, went to the parks meeting last month, seems to have a full staff, seems like they're running pretty well. Still talking about, we finally have a letter from Alba Township about bringing that park in. I'm not sure how receptive this committee is to it, but we'll see tomorrow. As Chris said, we have an airport meeting on Thursday. Be the last one probably see it, thing that has control for now, and then paperwork, we'll see it all in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And the attorney and go from there. That's really about it, I think. So we'll move to K to be Jim and Chris on this county land bank introduction.
Thank you. I'm gonna tag team a little bit here. Chris will fill in the details that I leave out from that standpoint. In any case, about 3 weeks ago, Phil Hansen, the DDA director over at St. Louis, gave me a call, and he was applying for a grant for some, I think they have 4 or 5 homes over there that they were looking to get some dollars to demolish them, and said he talked to a contact in the land bank. It said that if you formed a land bank by 7/31, you could qualify for some ARP funding to up to $500,000. So picked up with that and made some phone calls with it to the state and the state land bank, and talked to them and said, yes, that is in fact true. That if you get it established by that period of time, you can qualify for the dollars. And it's the same way that our dollars were through here. You'd have to establish a project by the end of 24, complete it by the end of 26. But you have to have it in place and done by 7/31 in order to do it. Hence, kind of kicked us in gear to do it. I've looked into the land bank several times before, and I just never really saw a giant reason for it, but did a little more exploration with it and talked to my counterpart over in Shiawassee County, and they started one about 1.5 years ago. And really for economic development reasons, where it gives you some opportunity to take titles of some property that can, then hopefully be converted or something for bring it into more mainstream to be able to use it. Their idea would be like ours, more commercial property than homes. Right now, Terry has a pretty good situation going with how to take care of foreclosed homes and sell them. We're not really looking at that kind of a situation. We're really looking more along the lines for commercial properties. In his case, it worked out real well because the state land bank gave them some property. They had gotten a hold of a subdivision that had gone bad over there. And so he was able to get that property and start selling lots. Unfortunately, the state land bank, the property they have in Gratiot isn't ones that we really are too interested in, like the Pelsico property and a few other ones that are stated in there. So in any case, I still think it makes sense for us to get one started from that point of view. It allows you to take title to a property. It automatically makes it a brownfield qualified property then, which we administer the brownfield authority. So that can be helpful along those lines. It helps you if it is contaminated property, you've got some hold harmless as a land bank to have it. So it makes it easier for the land bank to own it maybe than another entity. And so I think it's worth taking a good look at in order to do it. We've had some discussions. Chris has been extremely helpful in going through it. Terry's been very helpful. And Terry's a requirement to be on the board of it from that standpoint. The treasurer has to be, but then pretty much the other board we could put together from, I think, a smaller piece of it. My recommendation would be as part of Greater Gratiot's contract with the county, we'd accept the role of overseeing the land bank along with this board. I think would be fitting. We do the same thing with the brownfield and the EDC, and it seems to probably fit our role pretty well from that standpoint. There are 47 counties with them, 36 that don't have them, and then Detroit has a land bank. I know there's some pending legislation to talk about that if you had a municipality, a city that's 50,000 in population or greater, they could form one. I'm assuming probably Grand Rapids area, maybe a few other spots are looking to want to have one, even if their county has it, to be maybe a little more specific to their community. In our case, I think it fits like a glove to be a countywide, obviously, and what we could do with it. So that's sort of our lead into what we're talking about and doing. Need to put some things together. Shelley's been real helpful from as usual with it. She coordinates all of our brownfield and has been real good about digging into this. We've already checked with the state brownfield authority, had this agreement run through their attorney. They're comfortable with the wording the way we have it. So made a couple small changes that Shelley's been able to do already. So I think we've kind of lined up all the pieces of it. It then once, if you decided to do it, we get the resolution that we have to file in our county. It has to be filed in Ingham County, which is where it's housed the state land bank, and then it has to get the Great Seal on it. We're all scratching our head a little bit about the Great Seal, but we have to get that as part of it. We get all that done by 7/31. Then you have a little bit of time. You've got 30 days to have a first board meeting and put some pieces of it together. And I think I'd come forward with some potential recommendations of board members for it. I haven't really discussed it with all of them, but I think would be, you could have really a board of 5. But like I say, Perry has to be one of those board members as we go forward. And then, we'd offer as part of what we're doing for Greater Gratiot to be the housing to do that is just part of our normal function as we go forward with it. Shiawassee is a little bit different situation over there. They don't have a millage for their EDC group like us, so if they're doing it for a fee, we would be just part of the millage that we would have just to manage this thing. I think it fits best probably in our office going forward to do that. So I don't know if I've stirred any more questions, any thoughts. Like I say, it wouldn't be quite as big a rush with it, but dangle $500,000 at me, I tend to bite. And so I think we were in pretty good shape to do it. I was really appreciative to Phil just to pick up on it. It wasn't, you kind of had to pry a little bit and say, now do we get some? Yeah, you get the dollars if you do it. It's not like they're cutting their pool up differently. So, but we did confirm that is the case. So we would get those dollars with it. And then that'll buy us some time to take a look at a project. And Chris was pretty good forward saying, I think we could probably find some projects and we could spend some money on them. But it's mainly going to be to clean up some blighted areas and some properties that fit. You know, one example, it's happened already, but you know, that hotel project that's being torn up in Alma there, you know, Pine River Township actually would be one that's kind of what I see as the land bank. You know, some things. And like I say, we may take, you know, just as opportunities come around with it, to have this tool in our arsenal, I think is a good one for it as we go forward with some things.
500,000.
Coming from basically the COVID funds.
Federal.
Mhm. Yeah, it's flowing into the state, then into us from that standpoint. So it's already at the state level from that point of view. Yeah, you may not like, you know, the dollars, but I mean, I guess I feel like if it's there, we should take advantage of it to do it. Like that's sort of the role of it. I know
Funding would stay with the land bank.
funding will stay with the land bank with that standpoint.
Who would have approval of spending those funds on what project? I mean, would it be
It'd be the board of the land bank would have the approval for it to do it. But more than likely, it's probably not going to be one project that would entail that. That'd be a pretty substantial project. we'd have to really run into something that was going to be that much, but we'll just have to see kind of what we're doing.
no time frame to spend them or anything like that?
Time frame is, it has to.
No time frame to spend the money.
Yeah, you have to pick a project by 12/31 of 24, spend it by 12/31 of 26. So, you know, figured if you've decided by 24, the end of 24, what you're going to do, you'd assume you could get it done in 2 years. But I get
from the state's pot of ARP
Yeah.
funds, so
Yeah.
same rules that we have.
Yeah, I knew that we have some spending rules too. I just want to make sure.
yeah, same thing, kind of a situation we'd have to do and have some oversight in it. And
I think it's an opportunity, but $700,000 in Gratiot County, it's great.
kind of my thought.
So, how does this authority normally operate? How does it raise money? How is money put into it? I mean, this is a one-time.
Yeah, this is the one,
But
that's the function going forward. You know, you're going to be able to, is if you purchase something, you know, you're going to obviously have to have dollars in order to do it. So I see it more in a situation where, you know, if there is a tax situation where you don't get a sale, we may take a look at transferring it into that property. It may be a situation that we work in partnership with a developer to say, okay, I'm interested in this parcel. Some dollars from them come into something, but we put it into the land bank for a period of time that qualifies. It also lets you clear up title issues that you can't do on sometimes on an outside basis. So you can get clear title through it to do some of those things that you then transfer it back. But the far as the dollars go, you know, we made for a little bit of seed money, whether it be a little bit of the county, might be a little bit of Greater Gratiot, some other things that we have to kind of get ourselves started and some developers from that standpoint. Again, haven't been out to really, you know, stir the water a little bit to say, hey, how could we do something like this? But there have been a couple of them we've thought about here that you could probably come up with some dollars relatively cheap, get it, and then the authority may even borrow some money from one of the entities, get it. That's what they were doing in Shiawassee County. The county fronted them some money until they could get some things going, sell some of their land, pay the money back to the county. So I think we can be creative with the dollars that we get forward. My other thought would be that if we could have a little, you know, arrangement with a municipality that if we did come in, took title to something and helped them out, that if there's, you know, mowing or some, you know, just cost things that, you know, you could get that municipality, say, yeah, we'll take care of some things for you. So you don't have to go out and pay outsiders in order to do that. So I think we could work on each individual project, have an agreement with them to say, hey, on this one, this is what we could get some help with it. It spans the whole county too. So, you know, some of those we just may be surprised even what we do find in it. You know, could we find a site that's maybe not so good right now and be one where we could put some renewable energy on it, you know, something like that from a solar standpoint. Wow. Just kind of see what we could go with it on it. You know, the very, very downside is you got to keep it alive for 5 years and then you could, you know, sunset it if you wanted to. So if you did have, you know, so there's not going to be any dollars really spent to get it going. And we haven't. If we don't find any projects, we sit on it for 5 years and then collapse it for some reason. I'd be disappointed if that were the case, but we're not really committing ourselves to any kind of a long-term expenditure or something from that standpoint right now. So, and then the other side of it, like I say, there's 47 counties that have them, and they're not all large counties. There's some up north, some all over the places that, we reach out a little bit to some of those folks and say, hey, some ideas. And my guess is with 47 of them, there's probably 47 different ways they've got it funded and done, just how it worked out. But each one, I feel like our county's been pretty creative over the years with doing things and partnering with different ones, partnering with ourselves. I just think this is another tool nice to have to go forward with it.
Well, I know the brownfield portion of Greater Gratiot has done excellent over the years.
Oh, yeah, it's been a huge contributor. You look at ZFS, you look at some of these downtown buildings that have been redone now, you look at the old Lobdell building that we've had, that it's been a real success.
Those dollars on that over on 46 there.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Through there. So yeah, it's been a real good program. So I think between all of us, we're pretty good stewards of figuring stuff out. We may be small, but we're many but mighty, kind of figuring out ways to do it.
So we have time until the next meeting to make any decisions. We don't need to make any.
Yeah, no, you don't have to make a decision. I just want to give everybody sort of a chance to think about it and go forward with it.
What's going to change between now and the next meeting if we don't make a decision? What's going to change for anybody here?
4th of July.
I think probably ought to just move forward. I mean, if you can put $500,000 in the county, you have another tool to develop some property. Now you have a little money that's not ours.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and approve the project.
Second.
If we do move forward, the agreement that's in here just had those 2 minor changes from the attorney after the board packet was done. So it would just be 2 changes. They were very, it's just.
Yes, it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, just make it how it's supposed to be.
And then one of them,
And well, if we are, the time to have a discussion again, the thought for the board was, if we're getting to this point, was having Terry on it, having Chris sit on the board as the county administrator, and then ask the 3 city managers.
I don't know.
Something along that line of it. That would give the city, the cities are going to have the larger number of parcels, kind of from representation there. Chris and Terry brings the county background to it. And then, we're countywide organizations. I think all of us.
You do have a large village in Breckenridge that.
Yeah, that's one.
Industrial work and things.
Yeah, that was we were thinking of the village manager in that case, but if we do that, there's other villages too.
But they're the ones that have an industrial park.
No, that's true. And we'll definitely, with Greater Gratiot, I think the 3 of us would, be there. I'm not telling you guys,
No, I'm just.
we haven't asked anybody yet either. So they're watching
My
tonight.
father had to think of people that are in Greater Gratiot, that are involved in Greater Gratiot versus then taking. You don't want it to spin that we've just set something up for these 3 cities, versus.
Right.
The people that serve that come to the meetings on Friday, and we can select 3 out of there or something,
Yeah,
You'd be the runner and have them come to you for a project.
that's going to be the side of it. We're going to bird dog them and doing that and talk to the different ones. We just got to have ourselves somewhat of a board situation that, I think reflects, but I'm not. We could come back with a recommended slate from board.
I don't know, we probably wouldn't need a slate to move forward with the project, would we? You can go back with a slate
Yeah,
in a couple of weeks or whatever. We would have to approve that slate.
I think that would be the appropriate stance to approve this and the directors. It'd be a staggered board then. And so then it would start turning over every few years as a starting point from there. Wasn't
Got to move forward with the project, come back with a slate, we'll approve those.
Yeah.
Couple, 3 weeks.
I don't see any reason why we shouldn't just go ahead and they can get all their work done and basically.
Time management of
Time in July there, we can officially formulate it.
if there is a resolution that needs to be passed in order to do this, do you need to assign a number to it now?
No,
Okay,
no. So we do have a motion to sign. There's a separate agreement And then we'll do the resolution.
Intergovernmental agency with Greater Gratiot and the resolution.
You guys work out the nuts and bolts.
You want these?
And approves.
IGA.
I just see a good deal when we get it.
That's the updated resolution and the updated.
Good job, Shelley.
Okay, we'll go roll call. Because it's a resolution.
Okay. Motion is made to do this resolution and all in favor?
And we're gonna do.
Roll call.
Okay.
Commissioner Gay,
Yes.
Commissioner Owens,
Yes.
Commissioner Bailey,
Yes.
Commissioner Bunting,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
Thank you. Get banking. All right, I hear you.
Okay. Full building for the Commission on Aging.
Hey, I'm very happy to bring to you Stephanie House's first request for proposals that she's put together for us, and she is hired in an administration. This is for an outbuilding for Commission on Aging, which will be paid for from their donations fund. I believe it will be their donations fund. If not, it will come from their millage fund. What this will be used for is to store their equipment. Particularly, they've run out of room in their building for decking materials. They're doing a lot of handicap
Ramps.
ramps. They're storing things in hallways right now.
Commission on Aging went from building ramps, they still do a few, to portable ramps, which are all aluminum. And so they have many parts and pieces and they can go together in many different configurations. Instead of making 2 or 3 days to build a ramp, one man can do this in a day. So a lot easier.
They solicited 3 bids. One of them was incomplete. These bids were reviewed by Tony Miller, and he also went with the same recommendation that COA wanted to go for, which was for EFAL Builders LLC at $36,274.78. It does include electrical and a door opener, which one of the other bids did not include. We did put the bids in the packet. If you have any questions or concerns about going with a recommended bidder, I'd be happy to take those.
I thought she did an excellent job. I went through the bids. There was some questions on certain bids that weren't filled out really in detail. EFAL was really in detail, and he did an excellent job keeping the electrical costs down where the other ones were pretty high. And Stephanie did double check those electrical figures and EFA is right there. So, yeah, I would make a motion that we would allow COA to use EFA builders for their outbuilding. Or
Moving support to have EFA builders this building for the Commission on Aging. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carries. Alrighty.
I got this one question. Where is the building is going to be?
you know where you go back in the back, Dave, if you're going on the south side, you go to the back. It's right back in that corner.
Okay. I wondered if they had room.
Maybe skinny, really 14 by what, 40?
It's right there in the corner. Yep.
We have a contract here to amend for Bill Leonard. Are Chris gonna do that?
Yeah. So Bill Leonard is our blight enforcement officer, and in his new contract that was approved at the beginning of this fiscal year, October 1st. It was removed from there that he would be compensated for attending any board meetings or planning commission meetings. And I'm asking this board to consider compensating Bill $50 per board meeting that he is on the agenda for. The reason being, we have now more than doubled the number of townships that blight enforcement is now a part of. And a lot of these township supervisors and board members have questions about specific cases, why the county is making them clean this up or why the county is not making them clean this up. And they are inviting him to go to meetings outside of normal work hours. And previously, he was told that he needed to flex those hours to maintain his 29 hours per week. But with 10 townships and villages now and enforcing, we just don't have we can't have Bill working at nights and without getting compensated. So I'm asking that you would consider adding to his contract that he would be compensated $50 per meeting that he is on the agenda for, up to $550 per calendar year.
Yeah, sounds reasonable to me. So move.
I'll second that.
Been moved and supported to amend his contract up to $550 per year at $50 a meeting he's on the board for. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I do want to say one thing about our blight ordinance is we started out 4, now we have 10. And is that when you count the one we can look at tonight?
Yes, that includes tonight's.
But there's excitement for it in the townships that don't directly have it now that I represent, that they're looking at the ordinances currently. And they're probably going to come on board with. They're finding out, and I was hoping this would be the case. We've got a lot of resolution to a lot of different blight problems and people are hearing about it. And now that they're seeing that something is being done, they want to be part of that. So I would hope that in the future, a couple of years, and we should have a good representation from all of our townships in the county. So.
Well, in Seville, even though they have their own blight ordinance, I think would be a good idea if they joined with the county too, as you have prosecuting functions that we don't have as a township.
Right. You just got to remember that you wouldn't be able to use your blight ordinance. You have to use the county's. You'd have to adopt the county's blight ordinance.
But they could both, you could have them both, I would think, couldn't you?
No, you can't do, we won't keep, no. You can only have one.
Oh, okay.
You have to choose which one you want.
Yeah, we can only enforce the county ordinance. We cannot enforce a township ordinance. They have to have their own police and.
Okay.
So that's something you'd have to work with them to decide.
We don't work too well.
Well, I've explained it to my townships, you have a problem, now you gotta get somebody to file a complaint. They usually have a zoning guy on the thing, and he's one of the neighbors. Now he gotta go say, Charlie, you gotta clean your house up. And then they can file a complaint at the township. Then they gotta call their lawyer and he writes them a couple letters for $400 or $500. And then you decide you want to take them to court and you're gonna pay the fare. No, we're paying these guys upstairs to do that. We're paying Bill Leonard. I have a lot of times I've seen where you get to a board meeting and Bill would talk to the township supervisor and say, we're here, here, and here. And then they got questions for the township supervisor. The board does these, and I can see him going to these meetings. I can ask Bill the question, instead of the township supervisor. Well, I don't know, that's just what he told me, that's how we're doing it. So I think it's a good thing for him to go to these meetings when he's asked. And but I think it's just a good thing for the townships, the ones that I represent, they all seem to be real happy with it. And
right. All the ones that I have are very happy with what's going on and very happy with our permits department.
yeah, and you get 1 or 2 cleaned up, that tells the other ones that you're coming from them too, the neighbors who got a mess.
Exactly. It's working that way too.
Yeah, it's really worked a lot in Bannister down there. And Sumner's another town. I mean, they struggled for a long time. And when I represented them, we talked a lot about it. And they didn't want to spend $1,000, but they were writing 20 Costanza, $250 letters.
But they're on the agenda tonight, aren't
They're on the agenda. So I think it's a good thing.
You know, success breeds, you know, success. It's just the way it is. And they've been, I can't say enough about our staff over there. They do a great job. They're great with the people. I've never had anyone that they've had to help clean up, ever call me and complain about anybody like that. Nothing. So I think it's just a testament to their ability to work with people. We've got some good ones.
Alrighty, Sumner contract.
Yes, this is interagency agreement for the Sumner Blight Program adopting Gratiot County's blight ordinance. We're just requesting permission for the chair to sign this, to enter into the agreement. The bring Sumner into the Gratiot blight family.
No move.
Second.
Moving supported to have Sumner come into the county blight ordinance program. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. E5 Mills contract that was just brought out tonight for.
So this just came across my desk real quick today. It was a fairly simple ask, so I thought I'd bring it up to the board quick so that Mills Excavating can get started on this. We've contracted with them, I believe, at a minimum the last 5 years to mow our landfill, the cap for our landfill, which is quite a dangerous mow. He's done it for, like I said, many years. He is not raising his price. The contract is for 2 mows this year at $1,800 a piece. And I'm requesting that the board approves this contract for this year.
So move. Or
Move supported to have Mills mow the property we own out there where the dump site is. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any other unfinished business? We'll move into recess here.
make a motion that we move from regular business into the finance committee.
Moving supported, the movement has been supported. Or to move into finance committee. Yeah.
5-minute recess.
Tony's coming to your house.
Hey, Sam, that recess.
Yeah.
I've been drinking.
Okay, we moved into a regular meeting, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll take a 5-minute recess.
If Dave would have made one of them putts, would have been a sure bet to have the longest putt.
You guys know why they have that sheriff's outing? I do. I just wondered if you guys did. Really why?
Well,
It's a benefit.
Oh, yeah.
It's a benefit so that they can have police academy. It pays for their police academy, and that's this week. They get the shirts and the hats and they get all the teaching materials
For little kids.
for the
Youth Academy.
up from 12 to 16, I think. So,
Adolescent, early adolescent.
yeah, so they've been doing that this week. And they've got 50,
That's Bill?
I want to say 59 kids.
Oh,
I just did it after.
Thank kids.
Yeah,
Maybe in the future, the,
well,
want to be a,
wait, I asked Lieutenant Bozar about that, and he said they've had this now for about 15 years.
Has to be.
And they've had a couple kids go on to be police officers out of that. It's something for the kids to learn. It's not gonna hurt them
no,
to know what police do and why. And they had the SWAT team was there today when I walked by.
Here's Blake.
Going over stuff. They had the unit out there and all that stuff.
They usually bring a helicopter in too, don't they?
The problem, they're not gonna be able to bring a helicopter. There was 2 helicopter companies in this Lower Peninsula. The one that left the state. That left one helicopter company to cover the bottom of the state. So they don't have time. Yeah, that's too bad. 'Cause I was kind of looking forward, I always look forward to that because they fly in around by the school there, and
Meeting
but they're not going to be able to do it.
July 5th on the web, on the Tim Borden on the website.
So but I just want to know if you guys actually knew why they did that. And that's what their proceeds go to. They get about $5,000.
I didn't see,
They spend every nickel on
we've got them coming.
it. I said, you guys don't even buy beer with it? No.
Two of them are gonna go to jail and two of them are gonna do administration.
Okay, ready?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Finance Committee meeting. Chris,
Okay, the June finance report, we have had no more drain prepayment activities. We still remain slightly under what we budgeted for that. So if something does come up this summer, we still have funds available to prepay if we so choose. We do not have to, obviously.
We must be gonna have something coming up. I think Bernie sent me like 23 letters this last week. I mean, I guess.
oh, those are all spraying. If you read them, they're all about, they have to do those
I know if you,
because of the chemicals.
yep, oh,
That it's, I can't, one would be sufficient, but
yeah, they're all pretty much the same. So
I got like 9 of them last week, and 2 weeks before that, I got 8 of them, like. Really? It seemed to me a lot of overkill and a lot of money spent on postage. I just put it in the paper and leave it there. Okay. Done.
ARP funds, we have spent approximately 4.1 million of the 7.9 million. Over the last month, 128,000 in projects were paid for. And that was solely for county projects, that particular month. It consisted of server replacements, and I believe those are the servers that you had a chance to see at the sheriff's office. And also the court recorder project was wrapped up. We got the last billing. An update on where our late audit is at. About a week and a half ago was when Colleen at Woodhill uploaded the final documents to the auditor. I had full intentions of finishing it up this weekend. I did come in Saturday and was able to work on Saturday, and then I hurt my back on Sunday and missed Monday. So that is number one priority for this week, to get the remaining stuff.
No.
Did you ever see him stand up? Not very easily.
I thought you hurt your back golfing.
No, it was actually 2 days afterwards.
So, we're back.
Yes.
Wow, I thought it was golfing. I was gonna say, wow.
Yeah. And get work comp. My back.
We require our employees to take leave time for the golf outing, so send off the hook.
You got a PTO time.
Yeah.
Spend your PTO time on.
Mhm.
Smart.
I was immediately able to make up my time the next day. Our OPEB account is up 5.8% on the calendar year. The S&P for comparison is up 14.4%.
It's not bad.
Is that the Standard and Poor?
That is correct.
Yeah. In other words, we're doing pretty darn good.
500 companies that. That's the same. Oh. So. We started off with 2,000,000. 72,844.52 and then we ended up with 2,182,000.
Right.
Yep, from January 1st to last week when I pulled this report.
So the greater balance reflects the rise of interest.
Yep, the appreciation in our investments.
Yeah.
We're doing money markets more now.
No, this is separate.
Yep, this is handled by MERS. They have a mixture of investments that this is all in, anything from commercial paper to stocks to private equity. They have one investment pool that the majority of all of municipalities put OPEB and pension trust funds into. It is a fund that is managed daily by them to help minimize risk and at the same time try to maximize returns. Polar opposites, but that's how they advertise it.
Any other questions on the finance report?
The one that's up 5.8%, MERS. OPEB, what's saying?
OPEB is our other post-employment benefit trust fund. So similar to a pension that we promised to employees years ago, we also promised benefits to them after they retired, such as healthcare or life insurance. So there's a select handful of employees here that were still promised life insurance or health care after they retired. So that amount is calculated, and in order to not have a liability on our balance sheet, we put that money away so that it can only be used to pay for that in the future. When General Motors went bankrupt, they went bankrupt because they could no longer pay for the pensions that they had promised their employees. In order to make sure that something like that does not happen again, the state and the feds require us to put money away so that we can make sure that we pay those promises to our employees. That's what this fund is for, to make whole on our promises.
Okay,
So employees that have been with us the longest.
There was a cutoff date till there. People worked here before that. I don't know what the date was, but they had retirement, a regular retirement pension plan. Yeah.
Like a monthly.
They have a retirement plan, and they-
Monthly stipend.
health insurance, that type of benefit.
Retired.
Probably spouses do.
Let's say theoretic, person hired in like today.
In a
And
401k.
then like 30 years from now, they won't get it.
they don't get any of those benefits.
They
No.
don't get it.
You get 401k.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be just a lump sum of money.
But what the county puts in and what the employee puts in, whatever that would be on their date of the retirement. And there is no insurance. We don't carry any insurance forward.
So we double it. The money they put in, we double it.
What the percentage is, that's different, yeah.
There's a,
I can tell you my little plan, they put 4 in, we put 3 in it, and there's a cap somewhere. in it.
yeah,
That type of
It's
thing.
still good.
Yeah, and so then what happens here is when the last person leaves this world, then that fund is done. We have no more obligation. We have an obligation to pay them until the end. They made that promise a long time ago.
okay.
I have a question on, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Cash balances, would you like?
Yeah, make cash balances.
Okay. Would you like to start with your question?
Okay, yeah, I was just looking, I was wondering, and that's that general fund, and then you got COVID recovery fund. And I see it was up to, what is that, 5 million? But it's going down, so what are we using money for?
Well, when I report on the projects that we spend our ARP funds are, that is the COVID recovery fund.
Okay,
So it's not going to go up because we have deposited all of the money that we are going to get in it already. So
I heard, somebody was talking about it, I was listening to one of the news about recalling all of the COVID money. But I haven't heard anything else about it. Have you guys heard anything about it?
no,
There's certain groups or certain individual programs that they have been recalling, but most of those are from foreign governments and a few other odds and ends. Nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
So our general fund balance, we're sitting at just under $5.5 million compared to last year. We were just under $4 million. So I believe that's a very healthy balance that we're maintaining in our general fund.
Yes, it is.
COVID recovery, we're sitting at 4, delinquent tax 5.4, plus the 800,000 in tax sale fees. I didn't see anything that popped out other than the decrease we had between April and May in the delinquent tax fund. And that is due to settlement process being performed.
Any questions on that?
Nope.
Hey, make check register.
Give you a moment to review the check register if you have any questions for me.
Of course we do. Keep you on your toes. I just have a couple. This is a dental marketing LP. What is that? Like Bellamy.
You see that? Quick? On the very first page.
Yeah.
Dental insurance.
Dell. Oh, Dell?
Yeah, not even meant.
Dell.
Yeah.
Dell Marketing, that is where we buy our computers from.
Oh, okay.
Matt may have used that for certain projects.
I think some of that court stuff might have dealt too.
Yep, anytime we update anything IT related, we typically have some sort of expenditure with Dell.
Okay, what about Michigan State University? What's that on 82,000?
We make those payments to Michigan State University for their portion of the operations for MSU Extension. A lot of the employees that work at MSU Extension now are actual employees of MSU, no longer employees of the county. If you remember, Bill Henderson came and explained that just
Yeah, I
the
thought you
last time.
said there was one more left.
Nope, they've all converted over to MSU employees.
Okay, okay, I guess I forgot about it. Michigan State, say. Is here on county EDC for 13,000.
That would be 1 month's expense for juvenile detention.
Okay,
We rented a place there, right? Is that what that is?
I believe we rented a place at Ottawa County.
Is that out of town?
what's EPS?
EPS is they maintain all of our security, alarm systems, doors, locks.
You're pretty good at this. Like asking questions, he knows the answers right away. Here's one for SVC3 Incorporation for 23,000. Done by Verizon Wireless.
BC3 is, they have purchased, they provide the remote and on-site IT services now.
Oh, okay. IT.
So we have a $110,000 annual contract with them.
And here's a Horizon Bank.
All right.
Right, how's that?
Horizon. How
Horizon,
much is that for?
$23,673.88.
I believe that is a loan payment for a green.
Okay. I guess that's about it.
Any other questions?
We'll give you a moment to review the expenditure and revenue report. If you have any questions for that. Look up Horizon Bank real quick to make sure that I told you that right. Yep, it was for drain principal and interest payment.
Thank you.
I don't want Bernie to come back on me tomorrow. Any other questions?
I don't have any.
I thought she was looking something up. Oh, okay. I was waiting.
I was looking to see if I made any excellent, but I didn't.
Nate, what do we, let's see. May revenue expenditure report.
Oh, that's what we just looked at.
Okay, we're all done then. Terry.
My turn.
We have received all of our reimbursements from the DTE turbine settlement payments, so we're all set with that. The investments are all sitting now where they're supposed to be. So that has all happened. So other than that, there's not been a lot really going on. Does anybody have any questions on my reports?
Would it be possible to, I don't need the individuals, what we're making, just the bottom total on the interest we're making a month?
Sure.
That'd be
Absolutely.
For us to know that.
Yep, absolutely.
It's quite a bit.
Yep, it is.
So we should know that. So in the next report, if you could just place that down there.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions for Terry on that one? Yeah,
Stay put for the next one.
distribution report.
Yep.
Anything sticks on?
The totals are at the top and then it's separated out as you go down into the rest of the pages. The first category, the 2021 tax receivables, that's PRE denial settlement. It's considered delinquent tax after we have to do that export at settlement. So we have to pay those out to get it out of the system. The 2022s down the front page and for the top of the second page, those are all overpayments and settlements. We have to go through a process before we actually settle with each township. It's called pre-settlement, and the system does as good of a job as it can in determining what they will owe. But it, as you can see, sometimes there's a little bit that we have to pay them back because it hasn't calculated that exactly correctly. And then like the 4% delinquent tax admin fee that you see in the middle of the second page, that's pre-settlement overpayment bucket as well, because it goes into different buckets. So it's listing them separately. And then the penalties and interest is the same thing. That's just another pre-settlement payment bucket. It's all the same payment as you're seeing on the pre-settlements, but it's just, like I said, a different bucket. Because it goes into admin, it goes into interest, it goes into base tax, there's different buckets that it goes into, and here it's listing them out separately.
So do you have your next tax sale scheduled?
August.
August. Let's see, what have we got here? Okay, transfers.
Yep, there are transfers. A lot of them you're gonna see are district court because we do those daily.
Mhm.
Because they have to go from their bond account into 9 since which is our general fund, because they are now, other than their bond account, they're part of our general fund account.
Then we got delinquent tax.
That's what I was talking about just a few minutes ago.
Oh, went behind. Yeah. Anything else?
All right, thank you.
I mean, I'm delinquent tax fund. I thought you were gonna get there. I just had a couple questions.
Sure.
The Woodhull people, I mean, what, are we ever gonna be done with them or are they just, now they part of our office or they?
They want to. They have talked about staying on until the next audit, just to make sure that we make it through the next audit, but that's a decision that we have to make. So we haven't,
I mean, we have 2, 3 people working in the office and we're hard, but we got 11 grand into them already.
we only have one now that's working with us. Colleen, the head lady. The other one's helped us through the other part of it, but now we're just working with her. So
I mean, if she's working there and then you have, you have 2, 3 people working in the office also?
I have 2.5. Yes. So, it might not be necessary, but that's what she had recommended, but it's up to us what we do with it.
I guess we just put a lot of money, it seems like, to get this straightened out or whatever we're doing. And if she's continuing on to enter journal entries and stuff. Is that what she's doing or?
Yep, journal entries, because now she's wrapped up all the audit stuff and it's not necessary, it won't be necessary for her to do journal entries forever. No, absolutely not.
But she's talking next year?
That's what she recommended, but like I said, Sam, that's not what we have to do. It's our decision how long we stay contracted with her, stay working with her, I guess I should say. So.
And I'm looking again at this blight stuff, the gentleman that's taking care of this. I mean, we paid him 20,500. Is that something we ought to be looking at bidding out? I mean, is that a big number to give to somebody without asking anybody else?
No, as the agent of the delinquent tax, I have the authority to contract with someone, a private employer, an entity. Like I said before, I just had over 200, almost 300 feet of fence stolen from a property, 6-foot wooden fence from a property down on Dean Road last week. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on with these properties. And if I hire somebody to mow or hire somebody to clean up, they're not going to keep me informed of what's going on. I was there on Wednesday and this happened before the next Tuesday. So there's just all kinds of stuff that goes on with these properties.
So what do you do in a situation like that? Call the police?
Yep.
Is that our property?
It is. Yeah. I had to file a police report.
Do you take pictures of all this stuff too?
Take pictures of it. Yep. Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. There's nothing else that has to come before us. I will make a motion that we go back into regular session. Or
Who needs support to go back into regular session? All in favor? Any additional public comment, Matt? Anybody out there?
Nope, nobody's connected in.
Anything else? Oh, yeah, we'll need to approve the expenditures.
oh, sorry, make a motion that we approve the expenditures.
So do go back to finance.
No, we just,
Oh, no,
yeah, we can't.
can't do that in finance.
I'll second it.
We'll move the support to pay the bills. All in favor?
I
I mean.
Motion carries. I think that's it. We're done.
All right.